2, 1.
Hello, everyone. This is Jody Graber from Bravo Wellness, and I am really honored and delighted to invite you on a 4-part journey with one of my new clients. And actually, I should give her the credit. She invited us to go on this journey after she made the choice to get healthy. And more importantly, she made the choice to honor herself. And I give her so much credit for that. And I'm honored to be guiding her on her journey to overcome emotional eating, challenges with sugar addiction, and really find a lasting solution. Not go on a diet to just go off a diet, but find a lasting solution for her health and her well-being. So we're going to go through the months that we're working together, the 4 months, so that you can get a glimpse into how I work with my clients and the results that real people see when they make the choice to honor themselves. For those of you who don't know me, I'll just let you know quickly that I am a certified integrative nutrition health coach who works mainly with individuals who are struggling with emotional eating, sugar addiction, and in some cases, eating disorders. And that is, in fact, how I got into this business. I suffered with all of those. I struggled with emotional eating, sugar addiction. For me, it led to an eating disorder. And I know how alone I felt when I was going through all of this. And I do not want anyone to ever feel alone. I want people to know that there is help, there is support, and that's why I'm honored to do what I do and to welcome you today on this journey. For more information about my work, you can visit my website, bravowellness.com, bravowellness.com, and you'll see there I do one-on-one work like I do, like we're going to talk about. I also have other opportunities to work with me in group programs and other ways so that you can get the help that you need. It's not necessarily about what I offer, it's about what you need. And that's what I want to give you. So again, bravowellness.com, you can get more information. But right now, I want to get to why we are here today. And it is really my honor to introduce a very special guest, a one-on-one private coaching client, and I'm going to say a friend. We are developing a friendship, and that makes me really happy. So this is Leslie Horn Trosset, and we've been working together for almost a month, and we've never met in person. We found each other online in a Facebook marketing group. And you know, when you have a connection with someone and you talk to them and you know you can trust them, that's what happened here. So Leslie, welcome. And I would love for you to tell us about yourself.
Well, thank you, Jody. That was a great intro. And yeah, I am Leslie Horn Trosset. I am a content marketing, social media, and SEO strategist. And I've been doing marketing for a long, long time. But I'm also just a regular person who has been struggling with weight gain over the last, 20 some odd years, I would say. And so for me, it's been there's a whole story there that I'll share with everybody. But I live in upstate New York, and like Jody said, we met online, and I can't wait to meet you in person because I do feel like we've already developed this incredible friendship that's just growing. And so I look forward to meeting you.
Yeah, no, I definitely look forward to that. And I know what a busy person you are, a busy woman, both working, a mom, And so I just want to stress to anyone who may be listening that, this is, again, about a lifestyle. It's not about getting on a diet, getting off a diet. And I think that's so important, especially for someone like you. I know you've been traveling a lot these past couple of weeks, back and forth to home and out of town. And you can't start thinking about, well, what's my diet? What am I allowed on my diet? What am I not allowed on my diet? It's about living. And so I just want to say that because I really do honor the efforts you have put in over these past few weeks. So
thank you.
I do want to say that. And I'd love to, I'd appreciate if you tell people, why did you seek a health coach? There are so many ways to, eat differently, change the way you eat, go on a diet or not go on a diet. Why a health coach?
Yeah. Well, I have 4 children, and with each child, I seem to just gain weight, right? Like, I think I gained 70 pounds with my first son, who was 9 pounds, 4 ounces. And then I lost some of the weight. And then 2 years later, I had another child. And then, 2.5, 3 years later, I had another child. And then 2, 3 years later, I had another child. So with each pregnancy and child, and I've had 2 miscarriages as well. So with each child, I just kept gaining weight. And then it gets harder and harder to lose it because then you get busy with the kids and you're, I was just running around. I was tired. I was working. And so I just really never took it off. And then I kept saying, okay, I'm going to lose it for my 40th birthday. And I didn't. And then there was a period where I probably lost maybe 40 pounds and I felt so great and it was so wonderful. And that was just through working out and healthier eating. And then my 50th birthday came around and I thought, okay, I'm going to lose it. Like 2 years ahead of that, I thought I was going to lose it and I didn't. And so now I'm 51 and I just thought like, okay, well, what's going on now? Now I've had a lot going on in my life with 4 kids, a business. I took care of my parents. There's a lot of people who are in the sandwich generation where they're taking care of their kids and their parents, and they've since passed. But, now it's time for me, and I should have done this a long time ago, but now it's time for me. But I was the person who hated doing, like, my parents would even say to me, why don't you go on Jenny Craig? We'll pay for it. Why don't you go on Weight Watchers? I'm like, I'm not a calorie counter. I'm not one of those people who want to measure my food. I just have zero interest in doing that. And so I walk regularly with my friend. We go on these great power walks, but then I was still coming home and eating the wrong things. And also I've been dealing with some, the effects of going through a divorce for a long time. So that brought on a lot of emotional eating through the years. And I just, I'm not looking for a quick fix. I'm just ready to finally work with. So I sought you out because I saw what you do for other people. And I thought, you know what, it's time now for me to start taking care of myself. Not only in the weight department, but in other areas of my life. And so that's why I wanted to work with you, because I knew that the emotional eating and the sugar addiction was really the root of my problem. I could go to the gym all I wanted, but if I was still going to come home and eat the wrong stuff, I'm not getting any further ahead. So I want this to be a lifetime change, and for my kids who really are calling out for it. They're like, Mom, let's eat healthier. And so, yeah, so that's why I wanted to work with you, Jody, and I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled so far, and we'll get into that soon, but and
I appreciate that. And I think, there is a difference in terms of, I know there are people that go out there and do the calorie counting thing or the points, and it works for some people, and more power to them if it does. I know what I've done. I also had done Weight Watchers, and it wasn't that I had to lose a lot of weight, but I just never felt comfortable. And it didn't work, I hear what you're saying, and I really, again, I know this word. I'm overusing this word, I think, and I don't mean to diminish it, but the honor that I feel, because it's so much about you finding the strength to say, I'm ready for a change, and then that we connected. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And I know, I mean, I mentioned that you had been traveling a little bit. What else, what's coming up for you? What are you looking forward to in the next few months that's also motivating you?
Yeah, I have a lot going on, as do a lot of people. And this is, my son just graduated college last weekend, so that was a big deal, right? My first child's graduating, and so we were down in Baltimore for that celebration, and it was multi-days, and it was a lot of fun, but a lot of stress and very tiring. And we'll talk about it in a little bit, but the challenge of eating, making good decisions, and things like that. I just had a wedding shower to attend, and then I have the wedding coming up this summer. So, and then just bathing suit time, right?
Yeah.
And I've always cringed being in a bathing suit. So, I just remember back to when I was thinner, and when I did lose the weight, I just felt so much better about myself, because I just, but it's not about the looks all for me. It's about how I'm feeling inside. And so, yeah, I'm busy. I'm busy like a lot of people. So I do have a lot of fun stuff coming up.
Yeah, no, and that's great. And I mean, I know how exciting, the graduation weekend was, and it is a big deal. And it is a big deal that you're a mom of four. And it's wonderful that you have the good things to look forward to. I mean, I think that's what we all, in a sense, that's what we all live for, right? The fun and the good things. And I think what you're doing is taking control of all these aspects of your life, the day to day, so that each day can be a good day. Even if it's not a perfect day, it may not be perfect. There's stress, you're a mom, you work, there's life, there's stress. Mm-hmm. But how you are taking, to the extent that you can, taking control of your environment and how you are showing up in the world to be your best self in all of those, in all of those aspects. So,
yeah, we definitely get lost in our worlds, right? We put ourselves aside, and whether you're a mom or not, a lot of times we do that, and we put our jobs first, we put our kids first, we put everybody else first, and that's when we start to lose ourselves. And so I'm finally getting that. Like, it took me 51 years to realize that, or, maybe after I had, so my oldest is 22. So maybe, it's taken 22 years to figure this out, but I'm finally getting back to really loving myself and wanting to make the right steps to move forward to feel better.
Yeah, I love that. And you've mentioned a couple and you've alluded to them, but I'd love for you to, since we're going to be going on this journey together, what are your 2 or 3 top goals, so that when we are done, with our work together, what do you want to see happen, so that when you look back on it, you say, that was worth it, and I made the changes I want to make?
Yeah. So my goals are, I have several. Obviously the one thing everybody thinks of is losing weight, but for me, it's really about feeling better. I really realized that I just wasn't feeling well. I have, but it's already decreased a lot of aches and pains, a lot of bloating, a lot of back pain and cramping, and just, acid reflux and things like that. And I haven't had a lot of energy. So I was looking to increase my energy as well. I want to feel better about, putting on my clothes and, wearing sleeveless shirts and, things like that. But all those are kind of sort of the byproduct of taking care of yourself and fixing the problems that exist, like the bloating and the the aches and the pains. Those come first, because when you're not feeling well most days, and I've been taking ibuprofen all the time, just way too much, and I couldn't stand that. I'm not a pill taker. I've never liked taking pills. But because of all my aches and pains, I just found myself always taking them. And I didn't like that. It's not good for your kidney, your livers, any of that. So I really wanted to, my goal has been, we talked about in the beginning, you talked about, you asked me what my goals were. And so that's really some of my top ones.
Yeah. No, I thank you for sharing those. And I think, I really want to stress the look and feel your best. And I do talk a lot about that when I am giving talks and things like that, because, I think it's easy in a way, easy to say, I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. And I think that's the real outward conversation that we have. I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. When really what's going on in our minds, the negative self-talk, the things that we are saying to ourselves, and we hear this a lot, speak to yourself as you would speak to your friend. I mean, I've said things to myself that I would never in a million years say to a friend, say to a family member, say to my worst enemy. I don't have that.
Me too.
And so it's about the feeling that you get when you get out of bed in the morning, to really be grateful for another day, right? And if your back hurts and your knee hurts and your head hurts, it's kind of hard to feel gratitude, and then to get out of bed and get ready to go to work and take care of the kids and be your best. So the feeling, because, we could gain 5 pounds and still feel like ourselves, and still feel like we're out there giving our best, because then we'll know, okay, well, this is what I need to do to lose the 5 pounds. But it's when we get into the bashing, the you're bad, you're stupid, you're dumb. I mean, these are things I've said to myself. What's wrong with you? Why can't you be like her? That's when another 5 pounds comes on, because of what we're doing to ourselves, and because we need that, it's cliche, that pint of ice cream, the bag of potato chips. I've been there. So thank you for saying that. I'd like to hear how you've managed the first few weeks. How has it been for you?
Well, it's been amazingly easy. And I really mean that. So let me start with what my fears were, because I had a lot of fears going into this, right? Like, I wasn't going to like the food. I have been addicted to caffeine. I'm a coffee drinker every day, all day. I was afraid that I was going to be hungry. I was afraid that you were going to tell me to eat gross food that I've never had before, and that it was going to taste disgusting, and that I would be torturing myself. Like, I really, had this terrible impression of but yet I was willing to do it, but yet I was dreading it at the same time. I love my wine. I go out with girlfriends for drinks all the time. So I was really fearful of it was like a death sentence or something, right? It's so strange, but I really felt like I was going to be completely deprived. So we've only been working together, a few weeks, like three and a half weeks or so. And I cannot believe that I'm not feeling any of those things. I was able to, because you weaned me off slowly before our actual start date, I was cutting down on the caffeine. I was cutting down on the wine. I was getting ready to prepare. And so it made it easier. I have had off and on headaches in the very beginning, but I always have headaches, even when I was having the caffeine. So, but those have already diminished. I have already noticed that, so what surprised me is that I keep wanting to jump on the scale, right? Like, I kept wanting to every day jump on the scale. And in the past, that's been sort of I guess it can be a good thing for some people if they're actually losing, but I was too focused on it. So it surprised me when you're like, step back from the scale. I only want you on, a couple of times a week. And I don't want you to be so focused on the weight. Like, even though I said my goals are a variety of things, I still go back to secretly how many pounds have I lost, but then you keep retraining my brain to think, well, how did you feel when you zippered up your pants? Were you standing up straight, or all of that? And I would say absolutely yes. There has not been one time where I have been starving. I've actually been full most of the time. I have increased my water, which I've never been good about drinking. I drink my warm lemon water in the morning. I have my little routine. So it surprised me that it's been going as well as it has. It really does. I thought this was going to be torturous.
Yeah.
Sorry, but I did.
And I appreciate your honesty, because it's what I hear a lot. Don't tell me, for a lot of people, don't tell me I can never have coffee again, or don't tell me I can't have wine. And I don't want to tell you that, because I like coffee, and I drink wine sometimes. So, and again, as I said at the beginning, it is about living your life. So while you may be off coffee for, a period of time now to kind of reset your body and, your mind-body connection, should you decide later on, that you want coffee in your life, we can, it will get slowly introduced. But you had very real fears and concerns. And actually, I think when we first spoke, you had also said that or suggested or asked about sort of delaying the start until after some of these trips, until like almost started right about now, and then called me and said, no, let's start now. And I thought that was so real and strong of you to say that, because of course we can delay it another week or two. And I was certainly respectful of that, because you did have some pre-planned trips and family things, and you were doing them. But you stepped up, and I'm happy that we were able to work through them in terms of setting you up, on one hand, setting you up for your trips, and on the other hand, giving you permission, and not that you need permission, but just from the emotional sense of giving you permission to have that glass of wine while you're out, or, the drink at the bar, or whatever it was going to be while you were out celebrating your son's graduation. Yeah. That it, because I don't want my work to be about deprivation. I don't want you to sit there with your friends and your son and his friends and your other children and feel like, well, I can't have this because that would be an awful feeling. And no one wants to feel that way when they're celebrating their graduation. So I think that I love that you shared the fears. And of course, it always, there's some nerves, or, not true anxiety for me, but, when I'm about to work with a new client, certainly I want them to see the results that they want to achieve. And I will do everything in my power to make that happen. But, every once in a while, there's someone who says, I didn't like that recipe, or I won't eat kale, or whatever it is. And you know what? That's okay. Yeah. If you don't like kale, I don't want you eating kale. Now,
right, and that's what I said.
Yeah, right. And are there different ways to make kale that's maybe, that maybe you'll like it? Maybe. Yeah. But that's not what we need to worry about now. I mean, I do have a client who told me they're not going to eat lentils. They're not going to eat a lot of beans. And now, they make homemade lentil soup, and they put kale in it. So, you just don't know, but it's the process. And it is about exploring the foods. And as you said, you were open to trying. And that's the most important thing, because the thing we have to keep in mind is by eating all the sugar and the caffeine and the alcohol and the processed foods, we change our taste buds. So we need those salty potato chips and the creaminess of ice cream. So, I mean, yeah, if you're going to compare the creaminess of ice cream to kale chips, it's going to taste a little different. But over time, when you find other things to satisfy your sweet tooth, and you have some kale with lunch or dinner or something, it's not so bad, I don't think. So
Right.
I'm glad to hear that.
I agree.
I'm glad to hear that. What would you say about our conversations when we're on the phone with each other? Because I know how powerful it is for me and what I learn from my clients. For you, what has it meant to have the phone conversations, and how has that strengthened you?
Well, that's the key right there, is the conversations, because when you can't talk the things through that's making you, that's triggering you, at least, for me, when something was triggering me or I didn't know how to do, well, it wasn't necessarily how to do something. It was like, so when I went on vacation, when I knew that I was going to be making a long, long drive, I was stressed. I was sort of worrying about it. And once I talked to you, you're able to take me through the steps of what I needed to make to prepare ahead of time. You have given me solutions and suggestions for like getting through my son's graduation. And you're also telling me that, if I do make a mistake, it's okay. Or, I was really good up until my son's graduation. I didn't, as I call, cheat once. I didn't eat anything bad. I didn't need to. I wasn't feeling, because I was feeling better, I wasn't feeling bloated. My aches and pains are already going away. And I think that a lot of that is probably because of all the chemicals that are now not in my diet. When you think about eating organically, which doesn't have to be expensive, but when you think about eating healthy, non-processed foods, and all the chemicals that are in those, and then you remove those from your diet, it really, for me, has had a huge effect on me. So, but when I have a question, or I'm triggered, or I'm worried about something, when it comes to the emotions, I know I can talk to you about it, and that is what's getting me through, and that is what will sustain me through these 4 months of working together. I just know it already. That's the huge difference. And so when you're going to these other plans, or you're trying to do it on your own, and you can always talk to a friend, but it's a little bit different having you as my health coach. I know that that's what you're here for. And, and you've helped me through already several times. And I have to say, well, I know for me that if I didn't have you to talk to, that I would probably have just gone back to my old self, to my old eating patterns.
Yeah, because that's, they don't call it comfort food for nothing, right? It's what we're used to. It does comfort us. And I appreciate what you just said. And if I may just mention that, you said a couple of things in that response. One was mistakes. And so what I want to say is, there aren't any mistakes.
Yeah.
It's experience, right? It's a learning experience. It's not a mistake if we have a glass of wine instead of a glass of water, right? We made a choice to do it. We're out in a social situation. It's making us feel comfortable. And then the issue is, or the question is, how did I feel afterwards? And you may have felt fine, which is awesome. You may have felt relaxed, happy, comfortable, gratitude that you were sitting with your son who just graduated college, all of those things. So then yay, then I'm glad you had it, it's when, if you were telling me I went and I had a glass of wine and I woke up in the middle of the night and I had to take Tylenol and I woke up in the morning and I needed more Tylenol, then we'd have to say, wait a minute, let's look at what this alcohol is really doing to your body.
Yeah.
And the other thing you said was, you've been good so far, and you've been amazing so far. You've been amazing. And it's just, and I know I use the words too, so I need to hear myself, good and bad, because, I don't want you to think, oh, well, you were good until that point and then you were bad. You have to get good again.
Yeah.
You're living your life and you're learning and you're understanding. And I think the best part about it is you're seeing the effects of the healthy eating and the healthy living and not having the aches and pains.
Yeah.
And then you're seeing that when you go, when you go away, or when you're with different people, or when you have a celebration, you can enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
A piece of cake or whatever it is not going to be the thing that causes all this inflammation in our bodies, in one day. It's the cumulative effect. So if you are living and leading a healthy lifestyle, like you are doing and making the changes to do,
Yeah.
then it's okay. Then you can enjoy life because you feel well, and that's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yeah. And, I definitely think, back to our phone calls, and it just came into my head that, you uncovered a real trigger for me when we were talking last week. And that was huge. When I realized that I was talking about portion control, and I really probably was eating a little bit too much because I was afraid that I wouldn't have enough, and that it wouldn't fill me all the way up, and that I've been used to eating until I'm full or stuffed, and that I don't have to do that anymore. And there was a correlation that you helped me make to my emotions and my life, and how, the feeling of, are you enough, and is food enough? And so that was a huge breakthrough for me. And I've already put it into play with not having to eat so much, even though it's all healthy, what I've been eating, you can still go overboard with even eating the healthy stuff. So, the quinoa, which I love now, I'm just like, I probably don't need as much, because I just don't need that much. And then, going to the graduation weekend, it was crazy, like I said, and so I came back and I boxered you, and I said, I feel like I fell off the wagon. I just made these choices that it wasn't that. I think what I did was I probably didn't, even though we talked about this, I probably didn't prep well enough in some cases, because when we had the party at his apartment afterwards, I had ordered for the whole party like these big sub sandwiches and focaccia vegetarian sandwiches and stuff like that. So there was a lot of bread that I had not been eating for the last couple of weeks, but there was salads and a tossed salad. So I did eat the salads. I was drinking a lot of water. I think I had one beer, and I had one glass of wine over the entire weekend. But this was a very stressful weekend. So I did make a lot of choices. I had my celery with me. I had my hummus. I did a lot of good things, but I tend to, I think in my mind, think, oh, well, you screwed up. You're, oh my God, you're off the wagon. And, oh, see, I knew you couldn't do this. And that negative talk comes into play. And so coming home and being able to say to you, I screwed up. And, these are the real challenges, right? That we all face in life. I can't just sit in my kitchen and make my own food every day. We all have lives. I have, business lunches that I need to attend. I have, the special events in our lives. But you're teaching me how to prepare for all of those, and also not how to knock myself out if I go off the plan a little bit. Like I was always saying, oh my God, I ate something bad. And you're like, it's not bad. There's no good food and bad food. It's just, you just have to choose more of the healthy foods and healthy choices. So that's another way that you've really helped me.
Good. No, I'm glad to hear that. And it's what I tell myself as well. When I'm going out of town or getting ready if I know I'm going to be out all day. This past weekend we were out, and I took, some chia pudding with me for lunch and a big salad for dinner. And I just felt better. Now I was able to do that. We were getting in a car. Sometimes it's really easy to do that, and sometimes it's not. And for me, I mean, I am here in New York City, so it is easy for me to run in somewhere and get a salad if I'm on the go. But to your point, I'm so happy to hear that you are able to, take what we talk about and then put it into your real life, your daily life, whether it is a business luncheon or it is traveling for a family engagement, to be able to say, wait a minute, this is what we talked about. This is what I can do. And then realizing, sometimes, I'm just a little, there's too much going on. And that's okay too, like we said.
And the cool thing is that I know it's going to become second nature to me, like it is for you now. Now I'm still spending a lot of time thinking about it because I'm only, 3 weeks into this. So, but already I can see like the benefits of preparing ahead of time, of planning ahead of time, and really making that time to do that. Because before, what I would do is I wouldn't plan ahead. Then I'd be out, that I'd be driving somewhere, leaving a meeting, then I'd be starving, and then I would run through the drive-through and make really unhealthy choices, and just snacking all the time. And so when you prepare, because you're teaching me how to prepare ahead of time, I'm avoiding all of those, bad paths of going down. So for me, it's been awesome.
Good. Well, I just, it makes me really, really happy to hear that, and to hear you being comfortable to share it with so many people. So.
Well, I'm hoping that my journey can help other people. I know that there's millions of people out there like me that are busy moms and business owners. And so I'm just, I'll share the struggles. I'll share the truth. I'll share the exciting things. I mean, I'm already down 8 pounds or so. And so, but again, it's not about the numbers. It's about how I'm feeling. I'm feeling better in my pants. I'm not as bloated. I've already reduced my ibuprofen intake, and that it's only been 3 weeks. So again, I'm not in a rush. I'm doing this for the long haul. Yes, I'd like to feel great for the wedding coming up in August, but this is the long haul. This is a journey. And I'm in no rush and I know that it's right for me because I know it's going to last because I'm not in a rush. I'm not doing something that is a quick fix that I know that I can't sustain. And I know I'll be able to sustain what you have me doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And for someone who is listening, who's watching us, who is really struggling, who's feeling like, I've tried everything and nothing works, what would you want to say to them?
I would say just get started. You really need to, I would suggest, first of all, journaling. You've had me journaling, and that's been fantastic, the stuff that I'm able to get out, because you don't realize, and I've off and on journaled throughout the years, but you either have to write it down or talk it through. That's the only way to get it off of your chest and out of your head. And so, and by the way, I have not been going to the gym. That was not part of our plan. I hadn't been doing it before, but I am getting out and exercising. I walk and I talk through that. That's also very helpful. But I would really think that, having a conversation with you who can customize any type of plan depending on what the individual needs are, is that at least start talking to you about how you can help them. Just start, because there's a lot of life to live, and there are a lot of things that I want to do and you probably want to do as well. And so I would say just get started, make that phone call, get on the path. And it's going to be a fun journey.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun journey. I like that. No, and I really I appreciate you saying that, and I know, yeah, just get started, I think are really great words, because I know I had said this many times, I'll start on Monday. I'll start next month.
Yeah.
And then the New Year's resolutions, I'll start next year, whatever time of year it is, you set up those parameters. And the truth is, you can start today. There's just a step or two or three that you start. I love what you said about taking walks too, because I think that's important for people to hear as well. Exercise is important. I mean, there are, studies done. There was another study I heard this morning. So we all know that exercise is important, but there are also so many different forms of exercises and ways to move. And some people should only do certain types of movements. Some people can do other types, some people can run a marathon and some aren't ready to run a marathon. So it is about moving your body to the extent that you can, having your doctor know what you're doing based on your heart rate and blood pressure and all of that. It's really important. But just to move, to take the walks that you do with a friend, which I think is the best way to do it. Meet up with a friend and go for a walk.
Yeah.
If that's something, if that's a way to get started with exercise, awesome. And I know you had been doing that before we started, but just to continue that and then, see where it takes you, is really wonderful. And it's a blessing, I think, that you have that, your friend in your community.
It really is. It really is. It's like the therapist, the healthy thing to do. It's the getting out and getting fresh air. Even if you can only go around the block or up the street once, just start. And then you'll get a little bit further and further each day. I mean, I still huff and puff. I'm out of breath, and my friend is in really good shape, but she puts up with me, and I walk a little bit slower than she does, but I'll get there. Again, this is not a rush. This is a long-term goal for me, and so I just want to keep going down this great path with you, and I'm very excited to be on this journey that you're helping me through. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, it is
everything.
awesome, and you're awesome, and we invite you to, Leslie and I invite you to go on this journey with us. And so, if you sign up for my newsletter at bravowellness.com, you'll get information about when our next video will be that we can then share with you. You can also follow me on Facebook at Bravo Wellness, and it's Bravo with an exclamation point. So it's Bravo exclamation point Wellness on Facebook. I'm on Twitter at Bravo Wellness, one word. And stay in touch. And if you do have questions, if you're wondering, is this right for me? Can Jody help me? I'm different. I don't think this is right for me. I'd love to have a conversation with you, and there'll be information on my website where you can set up the call just to ask me questions, to know that's what I did. That's what Leslie and I did. We just went through what her needs were, what her goals were, what her challenges were, and what I could offer. And then when we both felt like it was a good match, Leslie made the decision to work with me. If we get on the phone and, whoever's on the phone with me, if you decide, nope, this isn't right, that's okay. If I could give you one thing on our call to get you started or give you another resource, that's what I'm here to do. I want to help you to look and feel your best. That's what I want. So, Leslie, I thank you so much
You're welcome, Jody.
For working with me and for being open to sharing. I can't wait to see the months. I almost want to look in a crystal ball and
well, it's all going to be good. I know.
But it's all great. It's all great. Yeah. So thank you very, very much for your time.
You are most welcome. Thank you, Jody. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.